Are you ready?
Hopefully.
Are you ready for the biggest banger that we're going to make in our entire career?
That's almost sad, but okay, yeah.
Oh, you're right. This video is going to suck. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Teller Morose, joined by my co-host YOYO, and this is Tier List Tuesdays. It's a podcast, but you gotta watch the video to understand what we're talking about. That's not entirely true.
I was about to say, no, you don't. You only have to watch the video if you care about the actual tier list, and I don't know.
Even then, it's like you could check back every 5 or 10 minutes and be like, are they still rambling about muffins or some dumb shit? And then
the answer is probably yes. But that's okay if you like
Always.
muffins. Or don't.
Muffins are good. If you don't like muffins, you can't date me.
Oh, no, not another one.
Whee! Anyway, we found these conversation starters on this wonderful website. It's called Mantelligence. We've talked about them before. They did the first date ideas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that is correct.
This article was written by somebody named Jasper. I don't think there was actually a last name for them. Thanks, Jasper. We're stealing some of your content and ranking it and judging you very harshly. They have a list of just an ungodly amount of questions you can have as conversation starters and specifically ask a guy this or a girl this kind of stuff. We took the first 10 or so of the conversation starters, and we're going to be ranking them tier list style from S being the best to F being the worst. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I said that so intensely, but the first one is, what is the best comedy movie that you have ever seen?
Do you want to go first on this one?
Okay, so I'm going to answer the question just because I feel like this is a halfway good question.
Okay.
The best comedy movie I've ever seen is Hot Rod. That movie is absolute gold. It's Andy Samberg during the peak of the Lonely Island days, and it's about a stuntman, and it's just an absolute mess of a movie, but in the best way possible.
Interesting.
Do you have a best comedy movie that you've ever seen that you can kind of reel off the top of your head?
If I was asked to come up with one, I would say Wild Hogs, because it was
Okay.
my favorite movie for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know.
Yeah. I'll also give a shout out to Cheech and Chong's Still Smoking. That's a fun movie. It's really strange and funny. Anyway, as a question, as a conversation starter, I should say, I feel like this is okay, because if you really want to get to know somebody, it's a good way to see what their sense of humor is like. That being said, if someone just kind of came up and asked this out of nowhere, I don't think I'd have an answer prepared.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some people have one of those movies that they're just really, really big into, and if you happen to, ask someone like that this question, and then they just go on a big ramble about, Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something, sure, alright, you hit gold, but at the same time, like me, come up and ask me this, I'm like, probably Wild Hogs, it was funny.
Right.
And that's it. That's probably as far as it goes.
And I mean, I guess that still kind of helps you learn something, because if you're not big into movies, like I have not been for quite a long time, you might realize oh, they're not big into movies, and then you can kind of, sneak your way around that one, I guess, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking B. It's not bad. It's certainly better than some of the other ones that are on this list. It's not the best question by far, but it's okay. It's a passable one. Maybe C. I don't know.
I think it's fine. So we can put it in B to start
Okay.
with. See where we end up on it. But yeah, I think B's fine.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry you can hear the keyboard clicks. I'm just going to mute myself for that whole thing. Okay, so we're getting rid of this. Comedy movie. What's up?
I'm real curious as to how you're going to feel about this one.
Being a music boy and all. The next one is,
Yeah.
what is your favorite song and why? And I kind of want you to go first because I want to collect my thoughts a little bit on how I want to phrase what I'm thinking.
I don't actually like this question very much.
Yeah.
It's not bad inherently, but I really like asking someone why a song is their favorite is always something weird to me, because it's either going to be something probably quite personal, or something very, very esoteric. Right. Just like they have no idea really why they like it. It makes them feel a certain kind of way, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna be, what do you mean? It's fun. Like,
yeah.
So I don't really like why. Why is not my kind of thing. I like getting into a discussion about music, I think is good, and asking someone like their favorite band, their favorite artist, and I think if you like trade songs back and forth, especially if you have similar interests, that can be a good way to start things off. But asking what their favorite song is and then specifically why, I don't know. It's a bit of a odd question that I don't think is going to get you good answers, really.
Yeah. This one really bugs me, and I hear it a lot, especially before I got into a relationship. I would hear people ask that as like a flirt, just like, oh, like what kind of music do you listen to and stuff like that. And a lot of those questions are fine, but you can't ask what your favorite song is, because I feel like that's, at least for me, it's ever changing. Like, I feel like every week I have a new favorite song, or like one that's stuck in my head for a long time, and I can't really place like one song that is the absolute top tier for me. No pun intended. And worse off, asking why, like you said, it's one of those things where you're either gonna find like people that don't want to answer that because it's, like, fuck off, it's a song I like. Or you're gonna find people that are like super deep into personal and emotional stuff, which might be what you're going after. Or you're gonna be like me, and I'm just gonna sit and talk about production value and stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, it just sounds so cool the way that they mixed it, and like people are gonna be like, okay, I shouldn't have gotten into this question.
I mean, if that is what you're getting, I actually don't mind that as much, because that's kind of like suddenly the song has become a gateway to like people's emotions or their connection to the music industry. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to answer the question like that. It's probably going to be like
me and one other nerd.
Yeah, I like Viva La Vida. Why?
Because
it's cool. It's fun. It's a good song.
I will answer this. Currently, my favorite song is a song called Moby Dick by Jakey. He is also a YouTuber, and his music's pretty great. That being said, what is your favorite song is not a good question in my opinion, but that's coming from the ultimate music fuckboy, so I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, just one moment while I make sure I have the name of the song right. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
My current favorite song is Huckleberry by Toby Keith.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It gives me some real feel good vibes, and that's all that I get out of it.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I think I agree with your part, like, or your idea that what is your favorite song is kind of fine, but asking why is like weird. And it just kind of makes me feel a little uncomfortable. It's like, why do you like that? It's like, it's cool, and shut up,
It's another thing where I feel like if you happen to find somebody that is like really passionate about that, it's probably a very good question.
Yeah.
But everyone else is just going to be like, I don't know, man. He's good.
Few and far between.
The beat go bop, bop, bop me like... The beat go bop, bop, bop me like. The beat go bop, bop, bop. The beat go bop, bop, bop me like. The beat go bop, bop, bop. The beat go bop, bop, bop me like. The beat go bop, bop, bop. The beat go bop, bop, bop me like. The beat go bop, bop, bop. The beat go bop, bop, bop me like. The beat go bop, bop, bop. The
I feel like this is worse than I don't know. It's kind of the same as a comedy movie, but the why part is making it lesser for me. Because like if you asked why someone likes a comedy movie, they'd probably say the same shit where it's like either
they say, like, well, it's funny.
Yeah, or they're going to get into like the specifics of why they think certain parts are funny, just like favorite song could be. But
some
you
people
don't
really
ask
like
why
certain
someone
actors.
likes a comedy movie because it's funny. Shut up! Like get out of here.
Yes. The only like really detailed thing I think I could come up with for why I like a comedy movie would just be because I like the actors that are in it, and
Yeah, that's fair.
That really doesn't get us anywhere either.
No.
So, what is your favorite song and why? I do agree that it's lower than comedy movie. I say it's not bad by default. I'd say probably C. It's just kind of weird.
I was thinking D, if I'm honest.
If the why part is definitely D, but just what is your favorite song is kind of like okay. Yeah. I don't hate it.
Like, part of me does, because if someone's like, "What's your favorite song of all time?" I wouldn't be able to answer that. It's like because I was a different person 10 years ago than I was now.
Well, that's the thing. No one cares what you were at like 10 years ago when you're, just starting a conversation. No one cares about it. What's your favorite song right now? What are you into? What can we talk about,
Yeah. What is your favorite song? I guess what is your favorite song right now is totally fine.
Yeah.
That's a fine question.
I don't think it's an all-time kind of thing.
Yeah. I'll put it in C. Will you double check the article to make sure that it doesn't say
of all time?
Yeah. That website's a little bit of a mess, so if you can't find it, don't worry about it. Jasper, I know you just wrote the article, but come on, man. That website's kind of it's all over the place, You got hyperlinks to conversation starters with little pictures and stuff next to them, and then you just scroll down and it's there anyway on the same page, and I don't know, man. Jasper, I'm not mad at you. These are B and C grade questions, which are still passable.
Yep, you're doing all right, buddy.
Jasper, I want you to listen real close, okay? You gotta talk to your web designers and be like, hey, let's separate these questions into separate articles. Then you get more ad revenue. You got all these questions. If you just put them on separate pages, you're getting more money like that. You know what I mean? You gotta work with me here, okay?
On a slightly different note, just a little confidence booster. I like your name, Jasper. It's a good name. Jasper's a cool name. It is a cool name.
Your website should be as cool as your name. Talk to your people. Man, intelligence, listen up, okay? I'm about to get real. Did you find the question, by the way?
Yes, I'm looking right at it.
I'll stop mode. Go ahead.
All it says is, what's your favorite song and why this particular one? Music is always a great conversation topic, and you might get a new song for your playlist. The benefit of getting a new song for your playlist, I kind of agree with, but I don't think asking why is any better than asking what's your favorite song as far as getting... Because the real thing is, like, we have phones. Mm-hmm. We can share music to one another. It's quite easy. It's much, much easier to just show your favorite song to somebody and then see if they like it, And if they do, you can talk about it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Plus, like, the whole... You could find a new song to put in your playlist. That could be fine, but also... Are you really going to? Like, I hate saying this. Am I going to go and put Huckleberry by Toby Keith on one of my playlists because I know it's one of your favorite songs, and it's like, I got to go listen to that again? Nah, not really.
Only if you like it too, Like,
I mean, yeah, it's not a bad song or anything. It's just...
I will say, some of my coworkers, and by some of I mean every single coworker that's not me, listens to some form of rap music by and large, and they all tried to recommend me songs.
Okay,
and I'm waiting until I find one that I actually like enough to put on my playlist. Hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it will at some point.
Yeah. It's because everyone just listens to mainstream rap, dude. All the good shit's more underground.
I just don't like rap that's just, murder, drugs, sex, and that's like 70% of the rap that they've suggested to me.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I think we've hit that one pretty good. Shall we move on?
Yeah. Yes, I've already deleted it. We're going on to another music-related one. What's the best concert you have ever attended?
Yep.
I feel very strange about this one because most concerts that I've been to are pretty great. There are a few exceptions where I'm like, okay, well, that was like a little hit or miss for me, but a lot of them have just been absolutely great. I'd say a good 95%. So if someone says, what's the best concert you've ever attended? It kind of depends. I've seen really, really big, famous, successful artists. I've seen local shows that have been really fun. I've seen festivals, or I've been to festivals where like tons of bands are playing, and like those are fun, but does that count? Or are you looking for the artist, or are you looking for the experience, or...
For me, honestly, I think it was just, what did you enjoy the most?
That's a tough one still, man.
I mean,
because I could talk about this for like 4 hours, but we've got stuff to do after
You're a
this,
big concert individual, though, and so like that, it's a good question to ask you, even if you don't have a direct answer. I mean, you've got so many concerts you can talk about.
Right.
I think it's pretty good in that regard.
Yeah, that's kind of a good thing to have in a conversation starter, because it could be for any one of those reasons. But if you're like specifically, looking for like the artist that was most famous at the time or whatever, I don't know, man. It's weird.
I mean, I have a very straight answer to this. I'm not a big concert goer. I do not like concerts by and large because I'm not a big people person, and there tend to be a lot of people at concerts, strangely enough.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I've never seen another single soul at a concert before.
I wish that were true, but...
Not even the band. It was just music playing in an empty stadium, and it was awesome.
Okay, wait. No, you've gone too far now. You've gone from private concert to just actually lonely pretending to be at a concert.
Yeah, and it was just me sitting in a pile of grass in the middle of a stadium going, woo! And that was it. The speakers just start playing like 97 Won the River.
There would be an encore. There would be an encore.
Yeah, right after this commercial break. Oh, fuck.
But the best concert I have ever attended was for the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah. Awesome band.
It was such a show.
Yeah.
Like, generally, concerts, they're cool, they're fun, they're a good time, but I haven't been to any, like, really, really big ones except for that one. Mm-hmm. And so that one, to me, was, like, such an experience. There was, lights, pyrotechnics, lasers, that had, moving platforms with people playing instruments on top of them, and it was such a huge thing, and I just, like, it was awesome. Yeah. A wonderful time. Great experience.
I'll give my answer because I almost forgot about this, and I'm ashamed to say that I almost forgot. We saw Mike Shinoda. If you don't know, he is the surviving vocalist of Linkin Park. May Chester Bennington rest in peace. And it was like hot off the heels of all of that happening, and he released this album and started going on tour. And I don't think I've ever been to a more like emotional roller coaster of an event. Like, it was legitimately, I laughed and I cried and I had a wonderful time. It was great. And I don't want to say it was my absolute favorite because and I'm not saying this to be offensive or anything. I'm not a huge fan of Mike Shinoda's solo music. It's great, don't get me wrong. And he did play, a handful of Linkin Park songs and stuff like that, and it was cool. But I didn't know his music super well. So that was kind of iffy on that, but it really was an absolutely wonderful concert.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, where would I put this?
I think it's pretty good.
It's definitely a better question than comedy movies.
I think it's an A tier question. I don't think it's
yeah.
S. I don't
was
think
gonna
it's
say-
amazing, but
Yeah,
it's good.
it is a really good question. And that's one of those things that could definitely dive off the rails and get a conversation going for sure. Whereas the other ones just kind of feel like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker of a question.
Question.
Jesus. Listen, Jasper, this question's really not good.
Oh no.
Jasper, listen to me. Yo-Yo, do you drink coffee or tea?
I drink tea. It's
Cool.
actually English breakfast tea with sugar and milk. I enjoy it particularly because I drank it with my grandfather when he was still alive. He introduced me to the tea, and so now I remember him fondly whenever I drink.
You really destroyed my own argument. Well, I was expecting that to go, hey, Yo-Yo, do you drink coffee or tea? Oh, I drink tea. Cool.
I felt
Silence.
obligated. I felt obligated to
No,
ruin
you
it.
wanted to butcher my joke because you knew it was coming.
Oh, I did. I absolutely did.
Well, fuck me. I don't like this question. I drink both. Some people drink neither. Like, do you drink coffee or tea? Both.
Here's the thing about this question.
Yeah, what's up?
It's an important question.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not a conversation starter.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely that you're going to start a whole conversation about coffee or tea. I only did that because I made a point of doing it, and I probably would not have brought up my dead grandfather to somebody that I was just getting to know.
Yeah.
That being said, you can answer this question incredibly easy. Just meet them at a coffee place
Yeah.
and see if they order coffee or tea.
Yep.
And then ask a better question instead of wasting your time on that.
So, I could see this working in kind of like a, if you're like a big coffee fan or a big fan of tea, I could really see that working a little bit better, but not by a whole lot.
It only really works if you're both like big fans of one of them, you know?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me fix this one a little bit. What if it was, do you drink coffee or tea, and why? Then it becomes painful to talk about.
Let me think. Because caffeine? Yes, caffeine, I believe.
Yeah. But you said you drink tea, and coffee usually has caffeine too. So, what's the deal, man?
Well, dead grandfather, but...
Oh. I don't even know if I can make any jokes anymore, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's a good thing. It's,
Okay. Cool.
It's a pleasant, appreciative experience.
Yeah. This question's like an E, man. I don't...
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's...
Yeah,
feel an E?
I think E's... Yeah,
Right.
it's not a conversation starter. It's a really bad conversation starter. It's not F because there is a world in which you are like a real big coffee junkie and maybe they are too, or maybe they're a really big tea connoisseur. Mm-hmm. And you get into a discussion about it. But in every other world, it's a bad question.
Yeah. And speaking of bad questions, I typed this out a little wrong, but if you were stranded on a desert island, what one thing would you take? Jesus fucking Christ, I have to talk like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're stranded on a desert island, what one thing would you take with you? I hate this question with a burning passion.
It's a dumb question.
It's stupid.
It's incredibly irrelevant.
Yeah. Plus, like, no one's gonna say like, oh, I'd bring. I mean, some people might be. Okay, let me split this off into two groups of people. You're gonna have the people that are gonna say, I would take my lucky bracelet because it always reminds me to stay strong, and I love it to death. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then there's group 2 that says, I would bring a 50-gallon barrel of water, or I would bring a car, or I would bring a boat. And it's like, you're not learning about those people from that, other than you're learning that your question is stupid and they want to get off of your hypothetical island and stop talking to you.
That's the problem with this question. I believe the question is designed as like what is the thing you value most in the world, which is a very like esoteric and wide question, which can have some really, really cool and interesting answers and really be a good conversation if people get over the fact that you just asked them such a weird esoteric question. Yep. But this instead put you in a survival situation wherein you're basically like, you could answer that one question that might actually be worth talking about, or you could say, I bring a rope to hang myself. Like,
God. That was not the joke I was expecting to come out of your mouth, man. Holy shit.
It's a bad question, man. It's not a good question.
You're absolutely right. We're going to put this in F. Well, hold on. Before we do that, actually, let me slightly... Are you looking at the dock, by the way?
Oh, I am staring at the dock.
Okay, so
the dock on the island where I'm fishing with the fishing rod that I brought because I love fishing.
No, we're on a Google Doc. Anyway. So you see the question, right?
Yes, I do.
How I accidentally put, if you were stranded on a desert, not a desert island. But what if you were stranded on a desert island? What thing would you take?
I mean, I'd have to take a spoon to eat the ice cream, man.
See, that's what I was 100% thinking, just like a big-ass spoon. Like a 1-gallon spoon.
A 1-gallon spoon? Yeah, you can put that in your mouth, buddy. Good luck.
Oh, no. If it's ice cream, I'm just going to let it get a little bit more the kind of melty side, and then I'll just, like, tilt the spoon up a little bit and just let it all slather onto my face.
I was about to say, you're just going to ladle it into your mouth?
Yeah. Also, there's going to be so many fucking ants that I'd probably want a spoon to kill them with.
I don't know if ants can survive on an island covered in ice cream. They'd be very cold.
See, this question's a million times better. We're already talking about some weird shit. You see how much fun it is when you just add one S?
I don't know that this is the best example, but...
It's what my point being is that anything is better than if you were stranded on a desert island. What one thing would you take?
Yes, I will agree with that. That's a very bad question. It's terrible. It does nothing.
Just dessert. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, here's one that's a little more philosophical. Do you believe in luck? I'll speak first on this. I think it's a little bit better because on one hand you could really find out a person's spiritual beliefs out of it. Because they could say something like, well, I don't believe in luck because I believe in God. Or, you could kind of get into karma or whatever else. And I think that's at least a good way to find something out about a person. I don't think it's a great conversation starter, but I think it's a good, just be like, do you believe in luck? And people could be like, no, because this, and this, or, everything's a scientific randomness and there is no such thing as luck, or, God states that he has a plan for everybody, that kind of stuff. I can see it leading to broader or more in-depth topics. Yeah. Compared to, do you like coffee or tea?
See, I actually like this question a surprising amount. Mm-hmm. Because it's really, really close to a question I've been asked a number of times, which is, do you believe in fate? Mm-hmm. And the thing about that question, I will answer that question every time, and I will attempt a philosophical discussion, because that's the kind of person that I am.
Yeah.
However, it is very odd to be trying to get to know someone and ask them if they believe in fate. Because everyone is very, very self-centered, and they will think to themselves, are they talking about me? Are they asking if I believe that this is a fated encounter that we were destined to meet? Because the answer is, nah, buddy. Like, but do you believe in luck? It's actually a much better question, in my opinion, because it doesn't invite those thoughts. It doesn't invite those, like, is this, directed at me? And yet it still lets you work towards that philosophical... Oh, pardon me. That philosophical side of things, and people's beliefs, the stuff that really makes them who they are, and, why they live their life the way they do.
Yeah.
So I actually like the question a lot.
Do we put this in S? Because I'm looking at the rest of the questions, and I think it's one of the best ones, if I'm honest with you. I feel like it's at least an A, at bare minimum a B. But
some people are probably going to laugh in your face if you ask this question.
That's
and
fair.
Those people are dicks, so why do you care? Like,
yeah, that's a good way to weed out the fucking people you don't want to talk to.
Yeah,
if that is the question that you really want to get around to asking.
I think it's a very good question. I think it might be S. We could put it at S.
Are you feeling A? You sound hesitant, man.
Well, I'm hesitant to put it in S because I don't know that it is actually like a fantastic, wonderful, magnanimous, the best question that's ever been asked.
That's true.
But I also don't think that there is such a question. I don't think there's any one question that is the one-size-fits-all kind of question. This is what you need to ask people to start a conversation. Okay. And I think luck, this do you believe in luck, is probably as good as we're going to get.
Now, hear me out on this. We don't have to have an S-tier conversation starter. We could just leave S empty.
We don't have to, but I do feel like do you believe in luck is better than concerts, which would mean
true.
It would have to move down, which would mean comedy movie would have to move down, which would mean favorite song would have to move down. And that would be like a whole thing, and I'd really not that,
I'm the one who controls the tier list most of the time.
Yeah, but if you just put do you believe in luck in S and just say, side note, S does not mean this is the perfect question. It just means that it's very good.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, you're right. We'll put it in S. Because it feels like it is the best question. Do you believe in life after love?
We went to different places there. I was, do you believe in magic? And, do you believe in life after love? That's another good one. Yeah.
That was what I went for. Love, life after love. Is that what I typed?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I feel like I just typed something
I
different.
didn't go to that one, to be clear. I went to do you believe in magic? You went to the other one, which they're different places, but both very good.
Yeah. Anyway,
do you prefer cats or dogs?
This is the most F tier question.
It's not the most F tier question.
Oh, hold on. Hear me out. I don't even think I told you about this. I have a pet now. It's not a cat or a dog.
Wait, hold on.
What's up?
No. What kind of pet do you have?
You could probably guess.
I mean, my only other thought is a bird.
No. It is a lizard.
A lizard?
Yeah. My girlfriend's mom and stepdad were trying to get rid of some of their pets because they have another child on the way, and they don't want to have a bunch of animals that they can't, give the attention that the animals deserve.
Right.
So I took their lizard, and another friend of my girlfriend's took their big snake, and now they have slightly less things to worry about, and also we play with the lizard, every single day. And he is the sweetest thing on the planet. I prefer lizards, man. Those things are cool.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked at the potentiality of getting a lizard or a frog.
Yeah, because they're cool.
Well, a toad, not a frog. I didn't want a frog, but
Right.
yeah, it seemed really, really interesting. I mean, I've had a dog. I love dogs. I'm allergic to cats, unfortunately, so that doesn't really work, even though I love them as well.
That was another thing about the conversation starter. It's like, well, I'm allergic to one, so I guess I have to pick the other.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the two, I think I'd prefer dogs. I like dogs.
I mean, for me, this is another coffee or tea situation where, like, it is an important question. Because if you have dogs and they hate dogs, they probably can't hang out at your house.
You can't
date them. Like, it's kind of a problem, you know?
Or what if they're, like, afraid of dogs?
Yes.
For one reason or another. And then it's like,
Which,
well...
I have met a few people that were genuinely afraid of dogs. Even though my dog was, 7 pounds soaking wet and only could not bark, could only yip.
Yep.
They, for some reason, thought that it was going to maul them in their sleep.
Yeah. Your dog's also, like, the size of my foot, so...
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things that you don't want to get into it. I feel like that's the opposite of a good conversation starter, is when you start someone thinking about negative things. Do you prefer cats or dogs? I have a fear of dogs. This one time when I was 7, I got bit by a massive dog, and it scared me, and ever since then I've been too afraid to come up to any sort of dog, regardless of how big or small it is or how cute it is, because there's just that soaring memory in the back of my head about that time that I was nearly killed by this giant animal. And then you're sitting there at the party going, oh, fuck, I just ruined this guy's night. Like...
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of people that if they did have such a fear, probably would not be willing to discuss such a thing immediately with someone. They'd probably just be like, I'm a cat person.
Yeah.
Still, but it is a bad conversation starter for sure.
I feel like there's too many like negative things that could come out of that question.
There is a lot more negative because, like, even just I'm allergic to dogs is like, oh,
right. You don't win there. It's just like, oh, okay.
I mean, the only good thing that maybe happens there is, oh, me too. At which point you go, high five.
Why did you ask?
Club? Question mark.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not great.
F.
I guess it is worse than coffee or tea. I don't think it's worse than Deserted Island, but, whatever.
I mean, do you want to put it in E? Honestly, I'm not I hate Desert Island and Cats or Dogs equally as much.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, because, again,
I don't hate them equally, but I'm okay with them being in the same tier, just so long as it's clear that Deserted Island would be in a lower tier if it existed.
Okay. Yeah, because at least with the coffee or tea one, it's just like coffee. Oh, okay. It's like, hey, cats or dogs, you have all these possibilities of, like, just sad thoughts. Coffee or tea is just kind of like, oh, I don't really like either, or one or the other, or both.
Well, see, I don't like coffee because it reminds me of my dead father, who shared a love of coffee with me, and then died in a horrendous accident when I was only 13 years old.
So how's your dad doing?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's fine.
I was going to say, because we've met a handful of times.
I'm just messing around because I think it's...
You just
I
really
know people are going
destroying
to
my
point
conversation
out,
starter.
No, I know people are going to point out the fact that, like, well, we're bringing up these extreme examples, like... Some people are afraid of dogs, but that's not the majority of people. The question's not that bad.
But if you're talking to a stranger, are you gonna risk that? Like, let's say you go to like some social gathering and you're all wearing your masks because you're being good people, and you ask somebody, "Hey, cats or dogs?" There's way more of a chance that you're gonna get a bad conversation out of it compared to, "Hey, what was your favorite concert?" or "Do you believe in luck?" or even "What's your favorite song and why?"
I do think it is a very, very bad question. I'm morally obligated to play devil's advocate. It's in the contract I signed on my day of birth.
Well, we've been doing... I was going to say you did that for the tier lists, but man, we've been doing this a long time if that's the case.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next question is, what is the best thing to happen to you in the past week? This is a lot more positive, so I can appreciate that. It's like, what's the best thing? Like, what's the goodest thing that's been in your heart for the last couple days? Like, that's kind of nice. There's not a huge way to snake your way around it. That being said, if someone doesn't have a good thing to talk about, you kind of just hurt their feelings a little bit more.
I mean, okay, don't take this the wrong way, all you sad people out there.
Oh, I will.
But by God, if you can't come up with one good thing to have happened to you in the past week, you're going about life all the wrong way, buddy. I don't care if that one good thing was that somebody held the door for you when you went to, a restaurant. You gotta be able to think of something. And if you can't, you're fooling yourself. Your life ain't that bad.
Right. I can answer this one. I finished a trailer for a thing that I've been working on that might actually be released by now. It's my album. I'm making music. Check it out on my YouTube channel and on the link tree thingy in the description below. Anyway, I made the trailer and I did this cool thing where there was a laser beam behind the album and the words and stuff. And whenever the song changed to show off another one of the cool songs on my new album, Putrid, you can check it out in the description below. Whenever it changed songs, the laser kind of did this weird swirly thing, and then it changed color, and I was really proud of my editing for that, even though it's a minute-long thing. I was very happy with it.
Okay.
And that was 3 days ago. That was probably the best thing that's happened to me this week, just because I was super happy with how it turned out.
You know what, man? That's pretty cool.
Thanks, dude.
I'm very happy for you. And
I appreciate that.
You guys should all go check that out because...
Aw.
Yeah.
My man. What's the best thing to happen to you in the last week, man?
So I didn't have to work on Thursday.
Okay.
Or no, Wednesday, my apologies. And on Wednesday, we happened to get in a whole bunch of Christmas stuff at the store where I work.
Okay.
And the big boss man happened to be there.
Mm.
And he, if he's there, will force us to sort everything out incredibly precisely. And it takes forever. And I happen to be off, so I didn't have to deal with that. Which was awesome in and of itself. A fantastic turn of events. I was incredibly happy with that. And then I come in the next day, and my boss brings in fresh Krispy Kremes because my coworkers did such a good job the day before and worked late to get things done. So not only did I not have to work, I also got donuts for free.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot.
That's cool. I mean, I guess it's hot. It can't be cool if it's hot. This is a good question. You see how you just went on that story and it was okay, that's great, man. That's awesome. What else did
Yeah.
I actually don't know where to trail the conversation from there unless I got into some of my other work stories from past jobs, but I could.
Well, that's the thing. You can... It's undoubtedly going to relate to whatever they were doing at the time. Even if it's, somebody, I guess, held the door open for me at the Mexican restaurant. You go, okay, all right, what Mexican restaurant do you go to? Yeah. There's something to keep it going. There's always going to be something there.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that's easy. I think
this is a good question.
This is a good question?
It is a good question.
Okay. Where are you feeling it? I'm thinking A, because it kind of has that same ring of concerts where it's it can just bring out kind of any story. Or it's imagine it's you said, what was the best concert you've ever experienced? And some guy was yo, I crowd surfed for the first time, and we were at this place in Tennessee. You could just take the word Tennessee and be oh, there's this other really cool place in Tennessee nearby where you're talking about, and it's, you don't need a lot to draw into a conversation.
Right.
People just think you do.
Yes, and these are the kind of questions that are going to get you into another bit of conversation. You probably, maybe you do, but you're probably not going to talk about that really good thing that happened.
Yeah.
But you're going to talk about something related to that.
Right.
And then probably something related to that, it's getting you started. It's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
it gets you headed off down the path, which is pretty good.
Yeah. I'm thinking A.
I think it's at least A.
Are you feeling S?
I kind of do, because I don't really feel a downside with this one. Like I said, the only downside I could think of is if somebody doesn't have anything to happen, which is what you said. But then I was like, if they don't have any, happy things that have happened to them, they're lying. Like,
well, what would be the proper response if you asked what's the best thing to happen to you in the past week, and they said I can't think of anything? Like, do you respond with like an O, or do you try to work your way through that?
I mean, I feel
let's say you and I were talking to each other. No, I'm sorry for cutting you off. But let's
specifically, me and you, as we are right now.
Yeah, and you said, "What's the best thing to happen to you in the past week?" And I said, "Man, I can't really think of anything. If I'm honest, this week's been a little rough."
Well, at that point, I'm gonna be like, "Oh man, really? What's been going on, man? You want to talk about it?"
Okay, yeah, fair. My week's been fine, by the way. My week's been actually pretty wonderful.
In a way, that's its own conversation starter. It's not as good because you're talking about negative things, but sometimes people do, like, if they're just having a really bad week, maybe they just need someone to talk to, and
yeah,
if it's somebody they don't know really well, maybe they wouldn't really feel comfortable with it, but you get them started on it, and I don't know, maybe they open up. Who knows?
Hey, you just fucking blindsided me straight into putting this into S, because it can turn anything into, like, if they can't think of anything, that's your time to, talk through it with somebody and maybe console them on anything they might be going through, and that might not be the conversation you were expecting to have, but it would be one that would help out somebody else in the process. And that's,
the worst thing I can think of is that they say, nah, I can't really think of anything, and you say, oh, really? Well, why's your week been so bad? You want to talk about it? And then they go, not really. And at that point, they probably just don't want to talk. They probably just want to be left alone. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's okay. We respect that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just, tell them you'll give them some space, and if they want to talk, that you're there. And then go about your business. And, maybe check up on them a little bit later if you're at, like, some kind of social thing or whatever. And, yeah, just work off the other person's emotions. Ooh, I just I just thought of fucking hilarious. Ask me the question like we're just, new friends at a party that you met today or something like that.
So hey man, I just how's your week been? I mean, what's the best thing that's happened to you recently? There's got to be something. You got to have something going on, right?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Like 3 days ago, I killed a man.
Oh. And you enjoyed that?
Oh yeah, dude, it was great. I had my hatchet and my machete and a pit of acid. It was great.
Would you like to share some details?
Oh, absolutely, man. Her name was Melissa. She was
Melissa?
She lived at 125 Main Street.
Wow, okay.
My full name is... Here are some handcuffs. Take me to jail.
I was about to say, I'm going to call someone real quick. That's just...
My phone's ringing. I know it's on silent. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go outside. Hello, 911? Yeah, this is the best question ever. S tier. You can stop crimes. You can console sad people. Man, best thing about your week. That's the easiest way to put it. Oh, Jesus Christ. I fucked up the screen. There we go. We're moving right along. What are some of your long-term goals, Yo-Yo? If you don't want to answer that, you don't have to. That's just the next thing on the list.
I'm more sighing because I don't really like this question. It's fine.
Oh yeah, no,
but it's
also, I hate it.
Yeah, like there's nothing inherently wrong with asking, but at the same time, it's like, we just met. Shut up. Like, I don't know.
This is one that actually has a lot more negativity behind it than people would expect. Because if you don't know what your long-term goals are, you're just, like, that person's going to be sad. Like, someone's going to ask you that, and you're going to be like, I don't have any long-term goals at the moment. And then, like, how do you recover from that?
I mean, even if they do have long-term goals, like me, I mean, yeah, I have long-term goals. Am I making any active progress towards those goals right now? Absolutely not, and I would thank you not to remind me of that, sir.
I just imagine you being like, you have the gall to ask me a question like this? How dare you? And they're just like slowly backing up. Like, I was just trying to get to know you, man. I'm sorry. You think that because I am this type of person that I don't have any long-term goals and you're going to ask me this now? Ugh! And then they're just like crying about it.
Did I tell you about the old man I ran into at
I'm going to go ahead and say no, not in the slightest. What happened there?
All right, well, walking along, pulling a pallet jack, and this old man walks up to me and he goes, "Excuse me, sir, do you work here?" I go, "Well, yes, sir, I do." And he said, "Yeah, you look like it." I was like, "You know what? I reckon you're right, sir. I reckon you're right about that." And he said, "You think you can answer a question for me?" I said, "I think I can certainly try. What kind of question would you like answered?" It's like, "All right, well, my wife has a question about these AC units over here." I said, "I'm going to be honest with you, sir. I know next to nothing about those AC units. I'll try to answer your question, and if I can't, which I probably won't be able to, I'll find someone that can." And he said, "You know what? I appreciate that."
Good. Yeah, that's kind of the fucking point, you know.
It was just this, like, really, like, brusque, honest, just like, "Yeah, you look like it." Like,
It's
yeah,
a little...
yeah, okay.
It's probably the fucking uniform and the pallet jack that I'm carrying, you fucking idiot.
We don't have a uniform, to be
you
clear. No, we don't have a uniform at all.
Interesting. I thought you had, like, the vest type things.
Yes, so the sales associates wear vests.
Ah.
I'm on the back end, so we don't wear vests.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That very wonderfully reminded me of when I went to pick up my computer monitor. I went to an electronics store nearby.
Yep.
And I walked in there and I was like, "Hey, I want a 4K monitor that'll be good for video editing and working with audio and stuff. Just, you know, good screen resolution, good brightness, shit like that." And I was like, "It needs to have preferably 3 HDMI ports." And he looked at it. You know, he's like, "Okay, let's figure this out." He like scrolled through a little like scanner thing, whatever you call those. He's like looking at inventory essentially. And then he was like, "Oh, okay." And he walked over, you know, not too far away from where we were, and he picked it up and he's like, "This has 2 HDMI ports. Is that going to be okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then I just kind of went about. I bought it. I'm still using it to this day.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but I was just like, you know what? Because the guy clearly didn't know very much about monitors in particular. He's just kind of like scrolling through some like basically app type thing. And he's like, "Look, I don't know a bunch about monitors, but I can help you out."
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know, I appreciate the honesty, man. Give me that one. You made a sale. I don't think you make commission here, but if you do, you were nice and honest, so I appreciate it. Super off topic. Holy shit. Super off topic. What am I, dumb?
Well.
Shut up. What are some of your long-term goals? That is, in my opinion, pretty close to bottom of the barrel. Like, you can get some good answers out of that, but if you're trying to just, like, make conversation, that's not the immediate way to go.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I very much agree. It's not a very good question for a conversation starter. To me, that's something where, like, you know the person a little better, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is the kind of question that you ask when you've known the person for a while, you know what they're doing with their life right now, and you're just wondering, like, where are they going to go from there? Where are they planning to, you know, take this career journey that they're on.
Yeah.
That's when you ask these kind of questions, not
Right.
to start a conversation when you know nothing about them.
Exactly. Like, I was going to say, if someone gets onto the topic of their job themselves, like if they really like their job and they start talking about it in a conversation, just be like, oh, like, what are your goals for the future and stuff like that. Totally fine.
Yes. If somebody is like, if you can get somebody started talking about their job and, what they're doing, a lot of people are really excited about, what they've got going on and what it means potentially for their future. And,
oh, yeah.
That's totally something that you can bring up.
Right.
If you're talking about, their prospects, what they got going on, their future and whatnot already.
Yeah.
What are your long-term goals? It's a good
I think
way
it's
to go.
more of a follow-up question than it is just like right off the bat, here's how you start a conversation.
Yes. It's not a very good cold open.
Yeah. F.
Yeah. Because for conversation starters, it's F or E for sure.
Yeah. I'll put it in E. Because, like, if someone came up to me and said, if you could only bring one thing to a desert island, I would punch them before they could finish that sentence.
Yeah. They're probably going to get a nice double blink out of me and then, like, really?
Yeah. Hey, please talk to someone else. Actually, I think I'd just shake their hand and be like, hey, I got my degree in communication. Let me help you out here. It's true, though. I did. Just had to get that brag in there. Last one for I'm going to assume there's going to be a part 2 to this article since there's like 300 some odd questions, I think.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, this is the last one for this episode. And then we can go through some closing thoughts, I suppose. But the question is, what did you have for dinner last night? And I don't know how to feel about that.
It's an okay question.
I don't hate it. It's not like the worst thing I've ever heard, but it's also just like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what?
It's a very, very mundane question.
Yeah.
And like a very like simple starting point. And there's a lot of potential for like nothing there. That's my big issue with this question is that I feel like it doesn't stem into other things very easily.
Yeah.
What did you have for dinner last night? I had pizza. What about you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember, I won't say too much about this, but there was a teacher that I had in high school that I don't believe you did.
Sure.
He was no, I'm not even going to say it. And I remember there was a girl in my class who was extremely quiet, like had maybe like one or two friends. And I feel bad. At the time, I didn't really think much of it. I was just like, oh, I'm lonely too because I was a fucking stupid teenager. Me and her probably would have gotten along really well. But anyway, I remember this English teacher would come up and sit beside her and just ask like very mundane questions kind of like that. Like, I remember him saying, like, what did you have for breakfast this morning? And, like, that was kind of all it took for her to, perk up a little bit and be like, oh, I had, just fucking applesauce or whatever. I don't know. Well, I could have at least named a breakfast food. Jesus Christ. Eggs.
You could have, but you didn't. But that's okay.
Yeah, no, just fuck me, I guess. But, like, it was one of those things where it was pretty apparent to me, and I'm sure to this student, that he was just trying to, get her to be more, conversational, I guess. But it was one of those things where it's just like, it kind of made me realize, and I was just thinking about this as you were speaking, like, really for some people, just any conversation is something that they need. And, so I'm sure I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. But for a lot of people, any conversation starter, be it one that we put in F tier or one that we put in S tier, is probably going to make their day. You never know.
Yeah.
That being said, personally for me, this question's probably going right in the D tier, not because it's empty, but because it's like it's not good.
Yeah, okay, there's something to be said for these like really, really mundane questions because there's like someone doesn't have to think about it. They don't have to feel like they're revealing anything personal to you. They don't
Right.
have to be comfortable really in the situation at all because they're not putting themselves in any sort of risk when they say, I had, spaghetti. I had baked chicken with vegetables. They're not putting themselves in any sort of risk. So it's a very like acceptable question, a very neutral question.
Yeah.
And if I felt like it was something that you could really like springboard into other questions with, I would say it's actually a very good question, but I don't feel like you can. I feel like you're pretty much locked into just like food.
Right. And kind of depending on how that goes, like I personally really love to cook. So if someone asked me, what did you have for dinner last night? I'd probably get into it a little bit and be like, oh, we had homemade nachos where we, like cut up a bunch of vegetables and cooked some beef and chicken and like made our own shit. And, it was good. It was delicious. Couple weeks back, if you'd asked me that, I would have said that I made homemade quesadillas and they were tasty. And, the secret is to make this chipotle sauce that's really good. But that being said, most people probably wouldn't care all that much. They'd probably just be like, oh, fuck, I just got this guy rambling.
I mean, the thing is, like, it can take the conversation places, but they're, like, all food places pretty much.
You're
like,
never going anywhere outside of that.
You can talk about food preferences, you can talk about cooking, you can talk about, diets, which is, like, the closest thing you can get to, like, stepping away from the food stuff.
Yeah, because then you could get more into just like health or exercise and then, slowly work your way out of that. But
that's only if they're doing anything about dieting, which is,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's not a good conversation starter. No. A good just like quick question to just be like, hey, do you want to speak words?
Right. Yeah.
I think it's
speak words.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it is, right?
It makes sense, but it's just the way that the word choice there was just. I don't know,
I
man.
suppose it does present that the alternative is they speak not words rather than not speak at all. So I guess,
you could have just said, "Do you want to speak?" Not, "Do you want to speak words?"
Well, I mean.
You're not just walking up and you're like,
If they sigh in response, then the answer is clearly no. They don't want to speak words.
That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah, I mean, D.
I think D is pretty fine, to be honest. Yeah. Whereas like E feels like a pretty waste of a question, or just something that like doesn't really jive for an opener. Mm-hmm. This is like it's an opener. It's just not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to be stuck on food for the rest of eternity. Good luck.
Right. I feel like there's way better conversation starters out there, especially if you know somebody, like you can hopefully pretty easily talk to them about something that will catch their attention. These things, some of them are halfway decent for people you don't know, which is great. If you're like on a let's say a first date, or as we've been going back and forth to, is if you're at like some kind of party or something, whenever parties come back to the world, like some of them are very wonderful and some of them definitely seem like they have more negatives, but you don't really need to find a list of conversation starters, in my opinion. You just ask somebody, like, what have you been up to? That's, day and night people can talk about stuff like that. You just got to grab hold of something that they say and work from there.
I mean, you can also always just open up with, and I know this is a bit, self-centered, but you can always open up with, something that you're interested in. Just see if they bite,
Yeah.
See if that's something they're interested in too. That's what I do a lot.
Right. And you just try to find common ground with somebody. That's pretty much all it takes. And even if you don't have a lot of common ground, if they start talking about something that you know absolutely nothing about, just be like, oh, tell me more about this. What's it like?
Yeah.
Easy.
Like, just, my big strategy when I just got some new coworkers, and I was like, okay, I just gotta get to know them a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So I just started out with, like, something that I like. Just like, so you guys play video games?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, yeah, I've got a PlayStation 4. I play Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It's like, huh, I play COD as well. What kind of guns do you use? You just
it just
pick a thing that you're interested in, and if they happen to be interested in too, then bam. If not, pick a different thing.
right.
Surely there's something, right? Like,
Everybody invests their time in at least one form of entertainment. That's like the golden rule. If people don't like music that much, they probably watch movies, or they watch YouTube, or they read books, or they watch TV, or they paint, or they cook. Like, there's just so many things that you can get into, and it's all just art related. So if you know a little bit about at least some of them, you probably have some common interest, at least a little bit,
yeah.
This one came into my head as we were doing the list. I think if you're looking for these kind of, I don't know, weird choice of words, but if you're looking for these very party-esque kind of question or conversation starters, like, what's your favorite song and stuff like that, get a little more abstract with it and say, like this, the one that I came up with, Yo-Yo, what is your favorite thing that's in your room?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because that gives you a little bit more than just like, oh, do you like music? Do you like comedy movie? And I don't know why I'm talking like this, but like, you could just, whatever they answer, you can answer whenever you feel the need. But that gives them the opportunity to say, oh, my favorite thing is my computer, or my Xbox, or my PlayStation, or my books, or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah.
On top of that, if you're in a party environment, chances are people are probably drinking or maybe doing more, who knows. But whatever the case may be, all of those kinds of things tend to make people much more open to those kind of off-the-wall questions. And you don't have to start with something quite as mundane when somebody is, totally ready to ramble about how they really believe that their uncle was abducted by aliens, and he swears by it. Man, it's crazy. It was, Area 51, man. Wow.
Yeah, what he said.
Yes, what I said, because I am correct.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, some people aren't quite like that, but it's...
No. That's just an example. Everybody has their own things, that they're totally willing to ramble about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not any sort of under any influence at all. If you give me the opportunity to ramble about League of Legends, you're doomed. It's over, kid.
It's over, kid.
Like, that's it. We're talking about League, and we're probably talking about it for at least an hour and a half. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, 100%. And that's great, because then if somebody has a passion for League of Legends the same way that you do, you guys are gonna be on good terms for the most part.
Yeah,
unless they pick people that you don't like in the game, and then fuck them. But
funny enough, that's almost like the entire basis of my close friendship with one of my buddies. Mm-hmm. I introduced him to League of Legends, and he got really into it, and now that's like a solid 80% of what we talk about.
Nice. That's good, though. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Conversation
I think that just
starters.
about covers it, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I should run through the list.
Oh, you do? Yes. Run through the list, my friend. Run through it.
Bottom to top. On your mark, get set, go. At F tier, we have, do you like cats or dogs more? And if you could bring anything to a desert island, what would it be? In E, we have, what are your long-term goals? And do you like coffee or tea? At D, we have, do you want to speak words. What did you have for dinner last night? I forgot I didn't actually fix that. Whoops. In D, we have, what did you eat for dinner last night? In C, we have, what is your favorite song? And maybe why, because fuck it. In B, we have, what is your favorite comedy movie? At A, we have, what concert did you enjoy the most? Or what was your best concert experience?
Yeah.
And at S, we have, do you believe in luck? And what is the best thing that happened to you in the past week? Thank you guys for listening. And don't forget that conversation starters don't have to be very specific questions like this. They can be fun this way, but really you just gotta ask people what they're interested in and kind of just work from there.
Yeah. And just don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to ask multiple times. Different questions. Just, read the room.
Yeah. And don't ask people if you like cats or dogs more.
Or the desert island. Just please.
Unless you're looking for a fight. That's when you ask that question. Because I'll fucking throw hands.
Honestly, though, just hit somebody. It gets you to the goal much faster if that's your plan. Anywho, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode of Tier List Tuesdays. It's been a pretty fun one for us. If you enjoyed it, please let us know. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see a little bit more, even ring the bell. We also have social media, as I am very fond of saying. And I just gotta say, happy Tuesday, everybody.